Labour minister has piled fresh pressure on Jeremy Corbyn to back a second Brexit referendum in crunch talks with Theresa May. Welsh Economy and Transport Minister Ken Skates urged the party chief not to abandon Labour's policy for another EU vote during negotiations with the Prime Minister. Mr. Corbyn has already faced calls from Deputy Leader Tom Watson and Shadow Foreign Secretary Emily Thornberry to ensure Labour support was conditional on a second referendum. Speaking exclusively to the Mirror, Mr. Skates claimed a confirmatory vote was essential. "I'm with the Labour Party membership. I think it's absolutely vital that we honour the democratic vote of the members," he said. He's on record as saying he's committed to the democratic will of party members, so I would expect Jeremy to also be in support of a confirmatory vote. The party has spoken very loudly indeed about where it wishes to go on this issue, and the overwhelming majority of delegates support a confirmatory vote. Mr. Skates, who campaigned for Remain, said in a fresh referendum he would back a soft Brexit deal agreed by Mr. Corbyn and the PM if it met Labour's tests. But the 43-year-old admitted he would later join a battle to rejoin the EU. "I think when we leave the EU, from day one there will be many politicians of my age and of our generation that will immediately begin a campaign to rejoin, and all of the polling figures would suggest that youth is on the side of rejoining, just as it's on the side of remaining," he said. "For many, I would imagine that would become a mission in politics for years and possibly decades to come. I would also be on the side of campaigning eventually to rejoin the EU if it was demonstrated that ultimately that would be in our interests, and I think all of the evidence shows we are best served within the EU." He said the 2016 result needed to be honored, but went on, "We need to respect the fact that a huge number of younger people are very pro-European and in all likelihood will go on campaigning for membership of the EU after we leave. In terms of principles and values, I think young people are very united." Mr. Skates feared that under a hard Brexit Wales could suffer the same economic meltdown as was unleashed by pit closures and steelwork shutdowns decades ago. He said, "The cloud on the economy is occupying everybody's minds, and it really does threaten severe damage to the Welsh economy. We don't want to see a return to the 1990s and 1980s, when we had an unemployment of there or thereabouts 10%, double the UK average, and when entire communities were left without prospects. Investment is being hit as firms shelve expansion plans," he warned. "Big international companies are wondering just how much damage will be done, particularly in the event of a no deal," he said. "There is real evidence now that uncertainty is causing investments to be cancelled or paused." He pointed to a major European manufacturer which was poised to create more than 200 incredibly well-paid jobs in advanced manufacturing in Deeside, North Wales. But because of the uncertainty of Brexit, they have decided not to proceed.